In yet another unprecedentedly immoral move by the current administration, Donald Trump decided to go sit in and listen to oral arguments at the Supreme Court about the birthright citizenship case. So, if you're unfamiliar with the birthright citizenship case, Donald Trump is trying to say that the part of the 14th Amendment that says that if you're born in the United States of America, you are automatically a U.S. citizen does not apply to everybody equally, and he should essentially get to pick who is and is not a U.S. citizen based on where they were born and who their parents are. The Supreme Court's hearing oral arguments on that case. No sitting president has ever gone to the Supreme Court and sat in to listen on oral arguments until today, when Trump did it. That is an unprecedented level of presidential intimidation. Luckily, the arguments don't sound like they're going his way. As a matter of fact, the lawyer making the case for the federal government had to argue that that slaves would want to be able to stay in the United States of America once free, and therefore the court should rule in Donald Trump's favor, because most of these immigrants that come in here and have children, they don't ever have an intention on staying. They always have an intention on leaving, which doesn't make any fucking sense, because if they're trying to get U.S. citizenship, it's so that they can fucking stay here. But that's neither here nor there. This is an unprecedented level, as I said, of presidential intimidation, where the sitting president, who has been sort of working the refs publicly when it comes to the Supreme Court, decides to go down there and just sit in on oral arguments and listen to it. The fact that Chief Justice John Roberts didn't come out and say, no, this is not what we do in this country, before they heard these oral arguments, is stunning to me. I mean, he is cementing himself as quite possibly one of the worst Chief Justices in Supreme Court history, and it doesn't seem to matter to him. He always seemed like the kind of guy that was really, really interested in his legacy as Chief Justice, in his legacy as to how he ran the court. And he has made some very interesting decisions while in that position of Chief Justice. And this would have been a prime way for the Supreme Court to sort of officially, unofficially clap back and say, this is wrong. We don't do this. But instead, they're hearing the oral arguments, and there's Trump sitting in the gallery, whatever, sitting there watching them hear these arguments. This is insane. This is insane. Do you know how much of an absolute fucking shitstorm it would cause if Obama went and sat in on oral arguments, say, for one of the cases that got to the Supreme Court to try and overturn the Affordable Care Act, to overturn Obamacare? Can you imagine if he went and sat in and watched the justices argue that? How much the fucking MAGA crowd, back then the Tea Party crowd, would have lost their ever-loving minds?